And boom, we are live. GM everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Struggling Trader. so, this week, I think, personally, this was one of the worst weeks in my experience yet. Not in terms of results necessarily, but in terms of price action and opportunities presented. And I don't mean to compare with anyone or anything like that, but I know that the people that I talk to and many DMs that I got, so many people are struggling right now, and they're like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, what is this price action? I'm getting chopped up all the time." And yeah, that has been my experience as well. So I had a couple of thoughts regarding this before we get into this analysis, and that is that yeah, this week was very harsh, and the way I'm trying to see this is just as valuable experience. So I'm still in forward test, so I'm not necessarily losing any money here, which is nice. And even if I was, I really the way I see it is this is the type of price action or type of these are the type of events that really battle test you as a trader because these kind of things are going to happen in our job ultimately. They will. There will be times when prices will be shitty and there's nothing we can do about it. And what I mean by battle test is that while there might still be opportunities, and there are opportunities which I had proof of in the previous couple of weeks, there are opportunities. What's really important about these weeks is that the opportunities are extremely rare, and you really need to have your rules fine tuned. Fine tuned in a way where you wait long enough for price to give you the confirmations you're looking for, and you are not basically trading before. And also, you don't continue chasing the trade after it's over. So, your rules need to be really well refined in the sense of you don't chase the trade until it's really there, and you don't continue chasing it once it's already gone. And that has been my experience in the past few weeks. There have definitely been opportunities, and there were also many opportunities to take minus ones, right? So, if anything, uh, I just tried to refine my rules even more uh, to a degree where I really have a refined set of rules, and I only take the trades when those rules actually are met. And, well, if you guys are watching my analyses, you know that last week was absolutely terrible for me. It was a minus 10 week. And I think I literally could not have done a worse thing than I did last week, and that was changing my entry criteria. I changed to the DTC, to the directional trigger candle entry criteria, and ultimately that kind of entry criteria opens you up to even more trades. And if anything, during these times of dry markets and markets that don't continue to deliver, if anything, my goal should be to limit the amount of trades that I'm taking, but I hopped on an entry criteria that allowed me to take even more, so naturally I took even more losses. If anything, it would make sense to switch to a DTC during a time when everything is delivering like crazy so that you get more opportunities, because if everything is delivering right on the higher time frames and there's a lot of volume in the market, you can be a little less strict on the E, I would say. But if you have times like now, where something starts moving but it has no continuation whatsoever, your rules should be more strict, I would say. So that's definitely something I attempted to do. I identified my mistake very quickly. That's the beauty of these weekly analyses. I identified that the entry criteria is not really something that I want to do, and I'm just going to stick to my entry criteria that I did before. And yeah, if we just take a look at my lessons from last week, well, I was generally trading good contexts and good Vs. So C and V is pretty much the same rules. But what went bad was the horrible E's because of, yeah, as I already mentioned, because of starting a new entry criteria without properly testing it. That was a absolutely rookie mistake. It's a little bit laughable, but it's okay. And I traded a few choppy markets. Sometimes momentum fizzled a little bit, but those were small mistakes, like maybe like two mistakes or three. But the most mistakes were on the E. And also, I had this lesson that I do not want to trade price action like this, where it's kind of choppy, choppy, ugly, ugly, and then all of a sudden it becomes clean. Just because it became clean over here does not disregard all of the nonsense that happened over here. So I decided I do not want to trade price action like that. Okay, so what did I do to make sure that this week is better? And to be honest, I don't know how good it's going to be. I didn't check my trades just yet. All I know is that I didn't catch any wins, unfortunately. And I do have some losses. I think my overall results are like -5, which is not the best. But I think there are going to be a few trades, especially early, maybe on Monday when I was chasing GER30. So what I noticed is that when I have way too many trades on a single asset, I do get a little bit, uh, like my focus dulls down a little bit, so to say. And maybe like some of the later trades are not going to be good. I'm definitely expecting a few mistakes. I have how many trades here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not all of them I took, but 10 trades to analyze. I think there's going to be at least 3 mistakes, but we'll see. But this week, I wanted to focus on, yeah, I reduced my TP to 5R from 6, simply because, well, I mentioned it many times before. I had so many trades that went to over 5R but didn't reach 6 and then reversed on me. And that sucked. It happened way too many times already, so I thought, okay, I'm simply going to reduce. Not a big deal. I really want to pay attention to perfect entries. Uh, I think I'm going to have a few mistakes there simply because I'm not as attentive to it just yet, but this is something that I have full confidence that I'm going to be able to take care of through time, and these ones are all the same. So one thing that I did this week as a reaction to my entry criteria bamboozle, I made sure to define and refine my ideal entry. And that's not just this. I went over all of my trades, all of them that you see over here. I think it's like close to 300 trades by now, 250 or something. And I filtered all of them out, and I filtered out the perfect and very good entries that I had that resulted in wins or break evens. I filtered out all of the losses. And then I went over all of them next to each other, and I was trying to see, okay, what can I learn here, right? Typical case study stuff. Everybody should do that. And once I learned all of that stuff, I put it over here, and I created this little guide for myself to make sure I define the perfect entry for myself. So I want to go over it real quick. So it's a step-by-step guide, right? So number one, the preceding stage two, before I even look for an entry, is strong. What I mean by strong is that there are big candles in my direction, small candles in the opposite direction, and it's always above the rising EMA 1020. Yeah, there can be a little bit of wiki happening below, the EMA tunnel, but it's mostly above the 1020 and it accelerates away from the 1020. It's not like glued to the 1020 and dragging its balls higher. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, so then what do we have here? The MB1 creation, right? So first we have this momentum cycle, right? We have the strong stage 2, aka a momentum cycle, and that momentum cycle breaks. Now, MB1, in my experience, the whole box, the whole MB1 forms in its entirety under the EMA 20. This is very important. If I want an MB, I am not looking for what's going on. Hello? I have no idea what just happened. Whatever. I'm not looking for just a small little dip below and a validation. This is not an MB for me. Okay, I need price to continue trading below. Dude, why can I not use? Oh, why can I not use my pen? What is going on here? Man, these are the kinds of things that just piss me off. Okay, okay. Now I zoomed out way too much, and I think my mirror just broke, man. Ugh, so annoying. Oh, I think I know why. Because of this. I see. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna delete it then. Okay. Now I will be able to draw. Cool. So yeah, I'm looking for the entirety of the MB to be formed below the EMAs, right? MB1 forms fully below the EMA 20. You can always draw a box that is completely below the EMA 20. That's the number one step for me. So anything that happens that is not this will automatically disqualify the setup for me. Now, the MB1 validation, that's basically how price comes out of the MB1 and validates the MB1, is once again strong. This is just a fractal version of the preceding stage 2. So whatever is happening over here, I want it to be happening over here in a fractal version. This is just compressed. This is on a basically too high of a time frame, right? If I went to a time frame that is like, I don't know, 6 times lower, I would be seeing exactly this over here. That's what I want to see. And yeah, that's AKA the buy button, right? I want to see the buy button here, and I want to see the buy button here. Strong candles that leave behind a valid demand zone, very important, and imbalance. Strong move above the EMA. So the EMA validation, the MB1 validation has to leave behind a demand zone, valid demand zone. It has to break above all of the EMAs, and it has to be strong. Now, the MB2, this one. The MB2 forms above the rising EMA 1020. Usually does not come back to mitigate MB1, but it can. But when it does so quickly and instantly pumps into my entry. It generally forms fully above the rising EMAs, but it can do this dip below, but instantly pump above. Basically, it should never trade below the EMAs for more than 1 or 2 candles. So this is the ideal, right? It all happens above the EMAs, but it can also happen in this way, where it very quickly dips below. I see. I should have done this. Yeah, I moved it, unfortunately. Yeah, where it very quickly dips below, but then it pumps back up. That's still okay. And then there is one more thingy here, and that's in regards of the EMA 50. What I have noticed is that there are still some valid entries that happen below the EMA 50, but when they do, it happens in a way where price dips below the EMA 50, it creates the MB1 and instantly pumps from there. Whenever it starts trading below the EMA 50, that's no longer this setup. Okay, so this is a very, very specific setup. So, and lastly, when price starts trading below the EMA 50, like it does over here, for a longer time, we should draw a trend line and only trade MB2 that does all the normal stuff, all the rules that I mentioned above, but on top of that, it also breaks above the trend line, okay? So these are the things that I have noticed from all of these trades. I don't know how many case studies this is. It's not necessarily too much, maybe 20, maybe 30, but it's definitely enough because I only filtered out the very, very best ones. So these are my refined rules, and I'm going to try my best to stick to those. And I did that actually very recently, so I'm expecting that some of the trades that I'm about to take here are not going to be the best. But over time, my goal is definitely to stick to these rules and try to only take entries that meet these rules. All right. With all of that being said, let's go into this week's performance, okay? So, starting off, I should have the trades over here. There we go. And first trade is a BE on GER30, and I didn't take this one. So let's take a look what happened. So GER30 on the higher time frame, I know, is generally very bullish, and it found itself in some kind of sideways a little bit. And I knew that this whole thing is going to be a reaccumulation. Then it dropped down, pumped back up. I wasn't looking for anything here, and I wanted to see this reaccumulate and continue higher. Because here, really, my expectation is that it's going to come up here, do its thing, and continue lower, right? I thought this push is all for redistribution purposes, but I wanted to let this push fail, and once it failed, if it broke above higher, it would confirm a reaccumulation for me, and I would be willing to look for trades if there is momentum. That's exactly what happens, and as it's breaking above here, I take a look at the V, and this is what I see. And here, this is crazy, crazy momentum, and it pulls back into the prime area of the rising 1020 EMA, so I should be valid to take a trade here. On the 1 minute, this is going to be a 1 minute trade. And on the 1 minute, I'm simply looking for the MB1 that forms below the EMAs and an MB2 that forms above the EMAs. This meets the rules, but I hesitate. The reason I hesitate is because this already looks a bit like a stage 1 over here, and I don't necessarily like this trade too much. I thought, if anything, this trade would be something that I should take on the 10 second, so I didn't take it. I'm not entirely sure if that was the right decision or not. I think it was. I think it was. Simply, yeah, it's quite a bit wiki. Like, it didn't convince me too much, so I can see that the reason I didn't take it here is because I hesitated, which is not good. I should not be hesitating. I should know perfectly whether my rules are met or not. But here, I really think it's the correct call that I didn't take this. And here, this was the MB2. It went up quite violently, and I could have reduced risk very quickly, which I would have done on this candle. And then it came back. Like, in order to get completely risk-free, I would need to see price break above this high, which it didn't. So I ended up taking a small little spread loss. Well, I didn't, but I would have taken a spread loss of minus 0.15. So that's trade number 1. Gonna label that up real quick. Also, to be quite honest, this context is not the best. Like, you can see the follow-up trades over here are, in my opinion, much better. Here, I'm more zoomed out, actually, so let's take a look here. Like, especially after this happened, maybe I should have just said, okay, this entire range is invalidated for me. But once it starts trading above here again, that's when I should have traded. That's also probably why I didn't take this. So in the end, I think it's the correct call that I did not take this trade, because this trade was really not the best. So let's start labeling this up. I'm going to say that this was a very questionable context. And I'm going to say that it's kind of stage 1. Here, there was amazing momentum. And this entry over here is questionable. So there's a lot wrong with this trade, and I think it's the correct call that I did not take it, because this was definitely a mistake. Okay, so let's label that up. Yeah, actually, I'm just going to say it's ugly. It's not even questionable. It's ugly. It's not just stage 1. It's also this huge sell over here. Yeah, this is just ugly. It's good that I didn't take it. 6 minute was good. And 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute was okay. Like, there was good momentum, but it was definitely not a good entry. This could have been a momentum MB and a 10-second entry, because it would be a break above this accumulation MB. This is an MMB, and if I got a 10-second entry here, I would be okay taking that, but that's not what I did. And anyway, all of this should be disqualified because of the context anyway. So yeah, overall, just not bad, not good at all. And mistake Y, stage 1, ugly entry. Just in general, not a good trade. All right, moving on. Now we have some dirty trades. I think this is a different day. I'm not entirely sure. Let me check. So this was May 27. Oh, it's not a different day. It's just on a different hour, huh? So here it's 2 candles in. This is the second. Okay, this is the third candle, and that already breaks out. Okay, I see. So here on the V, what we can see, this is the initial one. I also marked up the sell wall or resistance, whatever you want to call it, over here. And here we can see that this was 1 MB underneath. And here it shows some strength and it goes away. And I was thinking here, what I was arguing is, all right, this seems like it wants to break out, and it looks like it wants to continue higher. By no means is this overextended. This is probably MMB1. This would be MMB2. Not quite sure about what happened over here. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a more zoomed out version, but I thought, okay, this is looking like a good MMB. This looks pretty strong. There's inefficiency left behind, so I should be valid to trade this MMB on the 1 minute. So let's take a look what happened over here. This stage 2 is pretty damn strong. Rising EMAs, everything. Then it loses its momentum cycle. And here, I think this is a 1 minute entry. Yeah, it is. So let me draw in my MB. Okay, this is MB1. This is very, very thick. I don't like that. How do I make it less thick? Okay, just like that. So this is MB1, and this is MB2. Above the EMAs, just wicks a little bit. This is completely valid. Very beautiful trade, in my opinion. And what happens, I can probably see that over here. So here it taps me in, 1 second bullish candle over here. I remember I screenshotted it a little bit too late, but when I wanted to screenshot it, this candle was all the way up here, which is enough strength for me. At this point, I believe it should not come back, and if it does, I should not be in this trade. And then I take a look at the 10 seconds for my BE rule because I want to see the fractal structure, right? And then it breaks above, and that allows me to go completely break even. And this just goes a little bit higher to, like, I don't know what this is, 2.53R, something like that, 2.82, and it returns back. Simply, there is not enough juice in this move, and that's okay. I think this entry was actually amazing. So yeah, I like this. So very, very steep difference between this context over here, where we were still stuck in the stage 1, and this context over here, where we are now moving away from it. So this is a stage 1 expansion, and it's happening on good momentum. Okay. So I do like this trade. This trade is much, much better. Bruh. Let me mark. Oh my god. Let me mark this thing up, man. Okay, I just want to move it in the same. Cool. So that's that. Good momentum over here, and I would say this was a perfect entry. I really love this entry. Perfect entry. So overall, this trade was perfect. All good. Good entry and perfect management. So yeah, beautiful. Love to see it. Moving on, this is a JER30 trade that I didn't take because I wasn't paying attention. I don't know why I wasn't paying attention. I definitely should have, but it's whatever. So here, it's the exact same context. It's on the same day, right? So nothing has changed. What has changed over here is that we simply pulled back a little bit deeper, but still completely valid within the EMA tunnel prime area, right? So here, if I get DMB, I should be valid to trade it. So what do we have here? We have the preceding momentum cycle that breaks down for a reaccumulation. And here we definitely have a stage 1, and we have a breakout out of it. And honestly, I'm not quite sure about this trade. I'm not quite sure. So first things first, there is going to be a trend line based on my new rules. The trend line, okay, this is good. And here I need a break above. The MB1 needs to form like this. Okay, so let's draw in the MB1. I would say the MB1 is almost certainly this whole thing. And let's see if this is even, yeah, this is quite similar. Okay, that's okay. And it just wicks the mitigation, leaves behind demand zone. Okay, I think this was good. This looks all right. One thing that I don't necessarily like too much is that the EMAs are not rising. It seems a little bit weak. I would much rather have seen this happen a little bit higher, like this, and then the EMAs would start rising, and it would be a bit more valid, I would say. But this was, I don't know. I'm gonna say it's good. It's not perfect, but it's good. And I have no idea what actually ends up happening. I think this should be a break even. Let's see. Yep, it's a break even. Okay, so how do I manage this? So on this candle over here, I move to risk-free, I guess. And then on the 10 second, Ah, yeah, okay. Well, I don't even need the 10-second. I just see that, okay, it wicks here, means it takes this liquidity above. So if this reverses on me, there is no way I should have any risk on it. So this is where I move to completely break even. And sure enough, it goes against me and taps me out at break even. Well, it sucks that I didn't pay attention, but yeah, whatever. It's fine, I think. It would really be bad if this ended up being the win and I didn't pay attention. So actually, I need to pay. I just need to be better at this. I really don't remember why I wasn't paying attention here, but it is what it is. But uh, this entry is not perfect, but it's good. So good entry. I'm gonna call this trade good. I'm not unhappy with it. The only thing that could be better, as I said, is that this could be a little bit stronger, just a tiny little bit. Anyway, good context, good momentum, and good entry. Mm, maybe a little bit weak. So overall, good trade, and management was absolutely perfect. Very good. So next up, another BE on JER30. As you can see, that's already like 4 trades in the same day, I believe. Let me see the date. 27. Okay, May. Wow. Wow. 1, 5, 6, 7 trades on JER30 in a single day. All right. Let's see what happened over here. So we can see that on the 1 minute, what has happened since then. So here on the 1 minute, taps me out and then continues going higher. No, actually it goes higher and then taps me out. And as it taps me out, I'm already willing to look for a trade, right? And here, I guess I'm arguing that this whole thing is an MMB. So I should technically be valid to go to the 10-second and look for a trade. So here, I'm arguing that this is an MMB, and this would be MB2. You know what? I really don't like this because this is the type of MB that I do not like to trade. So I definitely forced this one because what I like to see is a nice boxy kind of MB below the EMA 20. This is just kinda, nah, this is not an MB. This is just, I don't know what the fuck this is. But this is most definitely not an MB. So no matter what, this is going to be a mistake. I guess it's a break even. Yeah, it is. Probably because it moves above here. So yeah, this is a break even, but actually I should not have taken this trade. All right, so boop, boop. Let's move this. The context is exactly the same. This is still on good momentum. Yep. And here, I don't even like these wicks over here, but ugh, I don't know. It's a bit wicky. This whole thing, it just like, look at this price action. This is not really good. If anything, like this was much better. This was much better. This was much better. This is just kind of wicky draggy nonsense. This should have disqualified me. And I guess if I take a look at the 10-second right now, the stage 2 is going to be ugly. Let's take a look. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is ugly as fuck. Like what the fuck are all of these things? Like one of the big rules that I have for analyzing the preceding stage 2 is that there should be big strong candles in my direction and not any big strong candles against my direction. And sure enough, all of these are big strong candles against my direction. That signifies to me that there is a lot of supply in the market that should not be there. It's not very one-sided, and I should not have taken this trade. This stage 2 is ugly. So that's ultimately how I'm going to approach it. So no way this is good momentum. It isn't. Uh, I'm gonna say weak and choppy. And when it comes to the entry itself, here, this is ugly entry, weak, choppy. All right, so this was definitely not good. This was good on the 60 and on the 6 minute. Yeah, that was decent. But on the 1 minute, it was ugly, it was choppy, and it was weak. And on the 1 minute, it was a bad entry. was an ugly entry. It was weak and choppy. Okay. And management-wise, okay. Over here, I reduce risk, and I reduce risk completely. Yeah, I just write risk-free immediately. So management was perfect, but overall, it was a mistake because it was weak and because it was choppy. All right. Moving on, another trade on GER30. So what has happened? We are still in the same MMB. Oh, sorry, I went up. I gotta go down. So here, what happened? We can see that on the 1 minute. So previously we had this push, that's this push over here. Then it pulls back, loses its 10 and 20. Yeah, this is exactly what I expected is gonna happen. I can already say right now that this was not good, simply because this has lost its momentum cycle. So nah, nah. I guess what I was arguing here is that, okay, this failed, so there should be some kind of stage one visible on the 10-second, then a breakout, and maybe over here, like there was an entry. So let's take a look what happened on the 10-second. Okay, that's exactly what happened. There's a stage one over here, and then there is a breakout that looks fairly strong, and then it goes down, right? Below the 1020, nice MB1. The MB2 validation, eh, it's nothing really spectacular. Yeah, it's nothing spectacular. There's a big sell over here. I don't like this. I don't like this. The reason I don't like this is simply because I feel like this is not a valid momentum cycle whatsoever. Like, I should be trading the 10-second when the 1 minute is already in a valid momentum cycle, and that would happen if we were above the EMAs. This was definitely forced. And that's kind of what I said at the beginning, that I believe that once that I'm going to have mistakes where once I trade the same asset for way too many times in a row, I kind of lose sight of my rules a little bit, and that's exactly what happened over here. Because after it broke down over here, what I should have done, okay, what I should have done was to wait for a new range that breaks above and a nice MMB. And I guess I argued that that's over here, but nah, I really don't like it. I don't like it at all. I should have just stepped away. At this point, it already seems quite choppy. Even on the 6 minute, it seems like all the momentum kind of fizzled. I can draw a box over here. Like, maybe there's an argument to be made that this is the last potential area where I could have looked for a trade. But to be honest, I don't like it too much. Anyway, the context is exactly the same. This, I mean, it's still completely valid on the 6 minute. It's still completely valid. But here on the 1 minute, I would say it's already quite choppy. I would say this by now, I would say this is a stage one. Like, what should have really happened is, okay, we have this stage one over here after this momentum cycle failed. So over here, if this wanted to go, we really should have seen a setup over here on the 10 seconds, okay? This little setup should have happened over here above the rising 1020, and then it would be a valid trade. But once it failed this time again, that should have been enough proof to me that this is a weak market and I should not have traded it. So I'm gonna say this was weak. Okay, I'm gonna say this was choppy, and it was by now stage one. So that completely disqualifies me from the entry. But if we take a look at just the entry, well, the entry wasn't anything spectacular either. The MB1, the MB1 and the MB2 are good. What I don't like about this is the MB1 validation, simply because, well, it looks like there's no valid demand zone really left behind, no inefficiency. It just kind of, it's a bit random. So I'm also gonna write ugly entry here. Okay. So, good context, good momentum over here. 1 minute is ugly. Choppy, weak stage 1. 10 second, ugly entry. Uh, and it was weak. Yeah. I'm gonna change this into weak MB1 validation because that's definitely something that I'm gonna be paying a lot of attention to in the future. So yeah, weak MB1 validation, and management wise there was really nothing to do. So this was a mistake, it was weak, momentum fizzled for sure. Stage 1, choppy, yeah, all of that stuff. Alright, and what is this? There's two more trades on JER30 here. Okay, so I continue chasing JER30. Let's see what happens. Okay, so this is the same context. And here, on the 6 minute, we can see that we had this little thingy over here. I know that after this, I completely stopped watching it. But then I draw in this line. I want to see a break above this MB. And that happens on amazing momentum, and that's when I start being interested again. So here, as it breaks out, right, I'm going to take a look at where is my accumulation MB. I would say that's over here, and now I can start counting MMBs. So I would say really that this is the first real MMB, the first real reaccumulation. This is just kind of, nah, this is all part of one move, and this is really where the first reaccumulation happens. We can also see that on the 10-second, that's where the momentum cycle really loses its strength for the first time. This stage 2 is quite nice, I would say. There are no big sell candles present, but there are very big buy candles here. You can see the acceleration from the EMAs every time. This is an amazing stage 2. I like it very much. And here, as it breaks down, it creates the full nice box below the EMAs, right below the EMA 20, and the MB2 is very, very similar in size. Actually, I drew this in TradingView already, but uh, I'm going to also do it here with the white ones, just the way I like to do it. And yeah, this is very similar in size. I like this so much. And this taps me in and starts going in my direction, goes to like 4.4R, very close to target, but simply there was not enough juice. So this trade was actually very, very nice. I should not have taken this trade before. I should have not taken one more BE over here. But other than that, I chased the right I chased at the right time, and this was a good trade. So let me label that up. Now there's definitely good momentum over here, 100%. There's good momentum on the 1 minute as well. I like that a lot. And this entry is perfection. I love this entry so much. Very, very good entry. Perfect entry. So yeah, that is perfect. Anyway, wait a second. So what happened over here? I just need to, okay, so this was a mistake and this was a mistake as well. Cool. So let me do that real quick. Mistake, mistake, whoops, and perfect. Okay, let's label that up real quick. Everything perfect over here. Very nice. Okay. And management-wise, I reduced risk on this chunky candle over here, and then it created fractal structure above, and as it broke higher, that's when I went completely risk-free. Okay, that was nice. And then I had one more trade in the same day on JER30. I'm wondering where that's going to be, if it's not going to be too overextended. I guess we're going to see. And also, something to pay attention to is, right, as this was happening, we can see that beautifully on the 1 hour. This was the 1 hour push. It pulled back beautifully into the rising 1020 EMA. And from there, as it broke higher, that's where I had that really nice trade over here that I was hoping takes me higher. And now, this is the push, and now it kind of looks like it's making another MMB because the 6 minute fails in its momentum cycle right now. So here I would have my MMB1, and I guess, well, this is not MMB2, and now it's forming MMB2. There's some inefficiency left behind, so I'm confident enough to call this an MMB. and that's why I'm willing to trade it, I guess. And here I am on the 1 minute, and this is a mistake because I am not valid to take entries that do not lose its momentum cycle and create the MBs here and here. So here I definitely, once again, I forced the trade. I was not supposed to trade here. If anything, maybe I could trade this on the 10 second where, okay, after this bounced, maybe there was a trade over here. Let me actually see if that happened. So this whole thing would then be an MMB, right? Pulled back into the rising 1020. So let's see what happened over here. So maybe this was an entry, but probably not. Probably not. Well, the entry would be here. And I don't know. I don't like this entry at all. Anyway, that would be the valid one. This was definitely not valid. I forced it. I'm a moron, but yeah, I'm just gonna have to write that down and make sure that I do not make this mistake. My MB1 has to always be below the EMAs. There's no way around that. That's a hard rule. I was not supposed to take this entry. So, yeah. Boop. Stage 1. This is no longer a stage 1 expansion, actually. This is just good momentum. And neither is this. My bad about that. And probably neither this, right? No, this is a stage 1 expansion. Alright, cool. So that's that. This is very good momentum over here for sure. And like, this was okay. I will say this is good momentum as well. Like, the 6 minute looks very good and ripe for a trade. It's just that I made a mistake on the E once again. I was not supposed to trade here. Yeah, ugly entry. I'm also gonna say why. MB1. Well, didn't flush. That's what I'm gonna say. Didn't flush, and I forced it. Yep. So that's this trade. Good context, good momentum, and 1 minute was my entry. Ugly entry, not my entry. And I wonder if I even have this option here. What did I say? Fourth didn't flush. Yes. Okay. MB1 not below EMAs. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Make that red. Cool. And the 10 second did not play any role. If anything, it should be a 10-second trade. And on the 10 second, I really don't think there was a trade here. Yeah, there wasn't. So overall, just a big fat mistake. Mistake, not my setup. Yeah. I'm also gonna write ugly entry. Okay. So that's all the JER30 trades. Mistake. Cool. Moving on, we have some UJ trades. Only 3 more trades to go. So let's take a look. So UJ, right? We have a preceding trend to the downside, and then we have some kind of stage 1. I'm never ever going to trade over here. This thingy over here, I was willing to trade a little bit simply because I saw, okay, this is maybe the reaccumulation, and a break above that would mean, on the 6 minute, right, would mean that it's a confirmed react, and I might see some trades here because I'm expecting all of this to be redistribution and then to fail down. But yeah, here I took a trade above this stage 1, and that I think was, well, I think it was okay. Maybe a little bit questionable, but generally okay. But then it starts going sideways over here, and I'm expecting a distribution over here, and it failing down. But if it continues going higher, that is going to confirm a reaccumulation for me, and with that, a new trend direction. So As it breaks out over here above all of this nonsense, I thought, okay, we are ready to potentially take some longs. So what happens over here? Here we break out, and I already started looking for some trades over here. Did I actually take this trade? I'm not sure. I don't think I did. Yeah, I don't think I did. I'm not sure what happened. I probably just tested something over here. But then this is very good momentum, right? MB1 over here, MB2, I don't know, probably somewhere over here. So we definitely have a new direction over here. And now it pulls back into the rising 1020. And I'm arguing that this is an MMB. If I look at it, it seems a little bit choppy over here. Not the best, but let's take a look what happens over here. Here we have the stage 2, right? Big candles in my direction, leaving behind inefficiency, not too big candles in the opposite direction. So I thought, okay, this is good enough. This is strong enough. Not perfect. Like a perfect stage 2 looks a little bit different. But here it starts reaccumulating, right? And it starts trading below the 50 as well. So I guess what I should do is I should start drawing in a trend line, something like this, and then it goes very strongly above all the EMAs, also above the trend line. So I draw in my MBs. MB1 looks very nice, completely below the EMAs. Very strong validation of MB1. MB2 looks proportional. Yeah, this looks very, very good. I think this was awesome. This was definitely a good entry. And what happens? It taps me in and pretty much instantly fucks me up. I actually think, if I'm not mistaken, I think this just taps me out and then delivers. Is that true or not? Let me see. Oh, this is UJ. I actually want to just take a look. I think this literally just taps me out and then goes. I don't remember exactly. Let me check this real quick. All right, UJ, it's somewhere over here. Boop. Let's check it out. Yeah. Yeah. This is the trade, isn't it? That's the trade over here. Let's take a look what happened. Is that the trade? No, I don't think so. Just gotta find this real quick. So this is above all of this nonsense, yes. Then it flushes out. It goes a little bit higher. Okay. Then it pulls back into this. Okay, no. Actually, it's not. It's not. It's just a normal failed trade. All right. Never mind. You see on the 1 minute over here? Yeah, that's something different. Think that trade happened somewhere over here, right? I can't even properly find it. It's whatever. Yeah. I have no fucking clue where this is. I really thought it's this one. Oh well, guess not. Anyway, I think this trade was good. I really think so. Like, this stage 2 could be a little bit stronger, but it's alright. Overall, I'm gonna treat this trade as good. Not perfect, but good enough. So here, what do we have? We definitely have good momentum. And anything else to say about this? Not really. Not really. Good momentum over here as well. Maybe it fizzled a little bit here. This stage 2. This stage 2 looks good, I would say, especially from the bottom over here. It did get a little bit choppy above. Maybe a little choppy. And the entry itself, 1 minute entry, the entry I think was beautiful. Yeah, good entry. So overall, I'm gonna say this was a good trade. Definitely wasn't perfect, but it was good. Okay, let's label it. Good context, 6 minutes, good momentum. 1 minute, uh, one mi- mhm. Good momentum, maybe a little bit choppy, and 1 minute was perfect. No, 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 good entry. So overall, it was good. Okay. Then we had USD CAD. So USD CAD I started watching because we have an ongoing high time frame trend to the upside. Then it starts pulling back. Here it creates some kind of stage one, right? Breaks out the first time, doesn't do anything much. So maybe the stage one was actually this whole thing over here, and then it breaks out. And to me, this looks like it really wants to go in this direction. So I take a look at the V over here, and I think over here I wasn't trading just yet, simply because there was this high, and that was somewhere over here, so I wasn't taking any risk over here. But then it breaks out very strongly, lots of inefficiency left behind. And when I take a look at the 1 minute, we had some kind of stage one over here, it seems like, but we left all of that behind, and now we're moving higher. And I would say this is probably MMB1, and this whole thing is probably MMB2. And then it breaks down lower, grabs some liquidity, but still above the EMAs. Everything looks completely valid. Here it reaccumulates, grabs this low. This is all completely valid and looks good. So here I go to the 10-second. I analyze this stage 2 over here. This stage 2 looks very reasonable. Lots of acceleration away. Big candles in my direction, small candles in the opposite direction. Nice little reaccumulations. Overall, still above the 50 rising EMA. This looks good. And now it breaks down a little bit. It breaks down and starts trading below. So I should definitely draw in one of these. And then what happens is we have our MB1 over here, I would say, and MB2 over here, very similar in size, very strong validation above the rising EMAs. This looks perfect, in my opinion. This was a very, very nice trade. And that just taps me in and instantly fucks me up. So that's a -1. But I think this was perfect. So what is this? This is stage 1 expansion. On good momentum, definitely. This is very good momentum, for sure. This is very good momentum, for sure. By no means overextended. And this entry is, in my opinion, perfect. And that ends up being a -1. Shit happens. So everything here was perfect. Okay. And that's when I ended the session. I had to already go somewhere. I had places to be. And I remember just before I left, I saw the 1 minute on USD CAD setting up, which is this trade over here. So if we take a look at the 1 minute and what happened, so god damn it. If we take a look at the 1 minute, previously, right, we were over here. That is, I think, this push, if I'm not mistaken. Is it? Wait, oh, sorry, that's the 10-second. So here's the 1 minute, MB1, MB2. Yep, this is the pullback that failed, right? That's over here. That failed. It dropped below, and then it created. Now, if we take a look at the 6 minute, it pulls back into the rising 1020. So here I should be valid to take a 1 minute trade. And this MB1 forms below the EMAs and also below the 50, but it's one of my rules uh, that I have observed, that if it drops below the 50 and it just creates the MB and instantly fires up, that is a valid MB1. So very much valid MB1, big strong validation of MB1, leaving behind demand zones and all of that jazz, and then it creates a beautiful MB2 above the EMAs, proportional in size, absolutely perfect. And I saw that setting up. It was, what time is this? Like 16, 17, something like that. Yeah. It's like 16:50, I would say. And I really had to go already. I did see that trade happening, but I was like, nah, I'm already ending my session, so I'm not going to take it. And sure enough, that trade would have tapped me in and beautifully delivered to +5. So I missed this one, but there's nothing you can do about it. That's just life. You know, I literally could not have taken this trade. So I didn't make any mistake here. I identified the trade properly. This trade was completely valid, but unfortunately I missed a +5, and that sucks. But yeah, it's whatever. If I had taken this +5, I would be overall break even this week, I think. So yeah. Anyway, let's label that up. So all of this is good. This is definitely good momentum on the 6 minute. There's definitely good momentum. Well, yeah, this is the 1 minute, so this is the entry, and this entry I would say is absolutely perfect. Also, since we are looking at the 1 minute as the entry, we should analyze the stage 2, right? This is obvious as day. This is such a strong stage 2. It's amazing. So when it flushes out, of course, I want to trade this. So yeah, this was perfect as well. Management-wise, I would have reduced risk already right here. That's a lot of strength. And then I would go to the 10-second and see some kind of, well, already here, I could have probably. I did this afterwards when I got home after midnight, so I didn't go through it perfectly. But yeah, this was management-wise, it would have been perfect as well. And yeah, that's the missed +5. Too bad. One thing I can do is I can check what the max RR on this bad boy was. Where was that? Am I even gonna be able to see that? I guess I deleted it because I got mad. Which is no surprise. Uh, yeah, whatever. So yeah, that's all the results this week. So let's take a look how many mistakes I actually made. So initially I thought it's gonna be like 3. So let's check it out. Let's go to analysis for this week. So overall, why does this say minus 5.4? I thought let me just check something real quick. So overall, how many did I not take? 1, 2, 3 trades that I did not take. Let me just check this. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so did not take. So minus 5.4, really? Okay. Okay. So there was 1 loss, 2, 3, 4, 4 losses. Yeah. You can just do it like this, I guess. Uh, Filter for result. Okay, so 4 losses, no spread losses, and 3 break evens. So minus 5.4 is the overall result. If I had taken everything the way I should have, the overall results would be minus 1.2. That would be much, much better because of this little win over here. Well, actually, this one I should not have taken. And now, okay, this is going to be interesting. Now I'm going to filter out all of the mistakes. If I had not taken any mistakes, the results would be... Oh, sorry. Does not contain mistake. There we go. So the overall results would be 1, 2... Is it still loading? 1.8. Okay. So 1.8 was supposed to be if I traded perfectly, but unfortunately I didn't. So yeah, let's do this real quick. So what went well this week? I think overall I followed very good contexts. I'm kind of happy with all of these contacts except for this one at the very, very beginning. Except for... wasn't there a... Yeah, except for this one. Yes. And the reason for that is that it was still within the entire range. And I didn't take this one, so it's okay. So overall, my contexts were absolutely amazing. I loved it. Very good context. Now let's check the V's, the 6 minutes. This is good. Overall, I'm looking for similar stuff as on C, right? So strong, impulsive moves above the 1020 EMA, basically momentum cycles. Good momentum cycle, good momentum cycle. This one is a little bit questionable. This is like the beginning of a new momentum cycle. I mean, it's all right. It's okay. But yeah, basically the yeah, this is actually okay. On the V, it's okay. The problem here was the E. The E should have flushed out. Wow, what the fuck did I just do? Oh my god. How does this happen? Alright, this should have flushed out, created an MB1 here, and then I could have taken it, which I didn't do. So yeah, the V was good. This V was amazing. This V was okay as well. Momentum cycle still intact. Very good. Yeah, very good Vs overall. Happy with that. So let's write that down. Now, let's take a look at the E's overall. Perfect entry over here. Entry over here. Perfect entry over here. Very good. Good entry over here. Ugly ass entry over here. So that's one problem. Perfect entry over here. This entry. Yeah, this entry is just fucking weird. But mostly, like, it's not just the entry itself is not that bad. The problem here is the 1 minute. If this is my V, this is not good. Like, compared to all the Vs I looked at before, this V is just absolute trash. I think this is the worst trade out of them all. But the entry itself, like the DMB itself, is very nice. This entry is absolute garbage. This is the worst entry ever. Like, blech, so bad. There is no DMB here. Like, whatever the fuck this is not my entry. So, not good. Good entry over here. Like, not perfect, but pretty good. Perfect entry. Questionable entry. Uh, yeah. Yeah, this already created the stage 1. So, yeah, I should not trade a DMB out of stage 1. This should be a 10-second entry. Should be a 10-second entry. Okay. So, entries generally alright. Generally okay entries. But most of my mistakes, once again, are on E. And mostly just not my setup. In terms of perfect DMBs. And also 1V was very ugly. And I'm going to take a screenshot of that to include it here. Just so I know exactly which one. It's this one. This one was just blech. Did not look good at all. I'll make it a bit bigger too. Okay. So overall, my results after filtering mistakes are 1.8R. And my actual results does not contain, didn't take. My actual results are minus 5.4. So yeah, quite a big, steep difference. So next week, what do I really want to focus on? Once again, pay attention to perfect entries. Honestly, all of this I already ingrained quite well, but there are still some tiny, tiny little mistakes. I especially need to pay attention to how I trade when I trade for a long time already. Like when I take multiple trades on the same market, it can happen that I get stuck, let's say, on the entry time frame, and I forget to pay close attention to the validation time frame. And because of that, I end up making a mistake and taking an unnecessary trade, and that's just unfortunate. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna keep this just the way it is for next week. I'm going to multiple times go over my refined rules. I'm going to probably print it out, have it in front of me, and I think I really think over this like entire year, over this like entire forward test, I have allowed myself enough time to make mistakes. I think I'm slowly going to transition to trying to be perfect. So My goal is from now on going to be to not take these gray area trades anymore. I really, really want to focus on having a couple of weeks where I perform perfectly. Okay, of course, let's say that if I have 10 trades every week, I can allow myself one or two mistakes. That's still like that's okay. But I cannot have weeks where I have multiple mistakes. Like let's take a look. Like how many mistakes do I actually have here? So does contain mistake. Okay, I have four mistakes this week out of uh 10 trades. That's just way too much. I don't want to make so many mistakes. And the type of mistakes I have, okay, stage one ugly entry, weak choppy, weak stage one choppy, ugly entry. Okay, so that's what I need to pay most attention to. And need to make sure that my trades are impulsive and strong and not choppy. And I need to make sure that my entries are really following my refined rules. And if I can do that, I believe I'm gonna do really, really well for myself. So yeah, that's this week's analysis. Overall, not the worst week. I restrained myself quite a bit. I know that I traded a lot on Monday. Most of my trades are on Monday, and then I had a few trades on Friday. But pretty much Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I had no trades. I believe maybe one trade because there was nothing setting up. And then once it did set up, I made numerous mistakes on the E, where if I didn't take those trades, I would do quite well for myself, and I would be happy with the results. But yeah, valuable experience as always. This is how I've been treating this entire experience, and how I'm going to continue treating it. It's all valuable experience. There's no point in getting tilted, in getting mad at myself. It's just valuable feedback that I need to now take responsibly and integrate it. Make sure that I follow the lessons that I draw for myself, and I think I'm going to be fine. Currently, if I take a look at here, yeah, it's not looking too good. Clearly, like these last couple of weeks were not good for me, but I have I have confidence that I will be able to make a return out of this. Like now I'm like in minus 30 R drawdown or something, 32. Yeah, that's a lot. But honestly, from my experience, one good week can delete all of it. So I'm just going to continue paying attention to the process, not paying attention to the result, and slowly but surely uh, refine my system and follow my system until I train myself well and until everything clicks and it starts working. Okay, how long was this? Maybe an hour, maybe longer. 1 hour, 7 minutes. Okay, not that bad. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week in the market. If any of this mm, provoked any thoughts in you, let me know in trade talks or write me a DM. I'm always willing to discuss trading. I'm very passionate about it, and I'll be looking forward to creating the next one. All right, peace.